We're going to learn the whole step-by-step process of making these cutter-free polymer clay bolt earrings start to finish. It took me about 6 months to make this tutorial with all of the research and trial and error. I've done it all for you to set you up for success. Hi, I'm Mel, the sculptor and artist of Two Feathers Gallery based in Australia. I like to do all different types of art, and I have sold my work in many shops and exhibited in many different galleries for over 20 years. Some of my work is available in my Etsy shop, and you can also check out my YouTube channel. Today, you'll learn some very different polymer clay earring techniques without using earring cutters. I'll also show you how easy it is to make your earrings reversible, meaning you can get 2 different earrings for the price of 1. Another special treat is one of my favorite tricks, attaching earring hooks. This tutorial is for beginners. However, if you're more experienced, I'm pretty confident you will find some new tricks too. And who wouldn't want these smashing earrings? We'll turn you into a polymer clay superhero in no time. Let's smash this class right now. You've got this. You've got this. Real fast, there are 4 tried and tested lightning bolt earring designs that are ready to go. You don't need to buy or have any polymer clay earring cutters for this tutorial. Instead, we're going to use 4 templates I designed that you can download to scale from my Etsy shop. Just print them out and bang them onto your clay. Or you can make your own unique polymer clay lightning bolt designs. I'm working on a glass surface because it's a good size for this project and I don't have a tile this size. The most important tip and advice I can give you for success and the best results is to put your clay directly onto a tile or a piece of glass so that it sticks down and not to a piece of paper. It's really important for this project to work because, as you can see here in this example, it makes it really hard and fiddly to cut. The paper moves around everywhere, and so do your polymer clay earrings. Throw that paper away, people, preferably in the recycling. Okay. Choose whatever clay you like. I recommend Primo Sculpey as it's a stickier brand. Mine is a custom color. I've put my clay through a pasta machine and a few notches down from the thickest setting. Roll it to your own preferred thickness though. I'm going to fold test it to check that it's well conditioned, which it is. As you can see, there's no cracks. And I'm going to zoom in and I've just spotted some air bubbles, and this is a fantastic example as they're really large. You just cut them or poke them with a blade and use whatever preferred modeling tool to blend the clay back in. A roller works well too. To stick your clay on the glass, you can gently use your finger evenly all over the surface, and you can even roll it very gently with a roller of some sort. I do both. Lay down your template and smooth it down softly with your finger. Use a cutting knife and try to keep a steady hand. You can use a ruler if you like, or even a rigid slicing blade. A handy tip is to slightly overcut on each corner of the bolt. I like to call this cross-cutting. It means that the cuts cross, so there's a better chance that the excess clay is going to lift off around it easily. It will give you a clean pull when you pull off the leftover clay, and the edges won't stick and distort your earring shape. A slicing blade is particularly good to cut the longer sections of each bolt, like I'm doing here. Just take your time lining it up, especially at the end of the points at the bottom. Then flip over the template and cut out the opposite side. Pull away the excess clay very slowly and carefully. Just tease little edges up at a time and see if they want to come off. And sometimes they may, and sometimes little sections might need to be cut again. The combination of the cutting knife for tighter sections and the slicing blade for longer sections work really well together. although be careful with the very delicate part in between the two thinnest points of the lightning bolts at the bottom. You may have to recut them like I did. I'm using both a cutting knife and a cutting blade to do this. And yay, it came off. Take some time neatening them up. I've blunted the points at the bottom a little and making sure that they're both the same length. You can gently smooth over them with your finger and pay close attention to the corners where there may be some little cutting marks. You might like to try your fingernail, a silicone shaper tool, or brush over them with a fine brush and some rubbing alcohol. The long slicing blade is such a handy tool for this project. If you hold the slicing blade on a 90-degree angle, it will help you to reshape the bolt. And if you hold it on a 45-degree angle, it will help to clean up any little burrs at the very bottom of the bolt where the clay meets the tile. So it's really handy in a few different ways. Just angle it however you like and it will clean up the edges really nicely. And if the edges are nice and clean, you probably won't even need to sand them later on if you don't want to. Keep making small adjustments until you're happy. This toothpick or a needle tool gives you a tiny indent to help you with drilling the hole in your piece later on. The hole is about 2 millimeters from the edge. I'm smoothing down the edges a little with my index finger. Can't help myself. I'm only showing you this as not everyone will have a sandpaper handy or a buffing tool or anything like that. So maybe you might want to do this and it will make it look nice and rounded if you like that look. You can also do this with some isopropyl alcohol and a cotton tip. I find that a cotton tip works better than a brush as you have a little bit more control and a little bit more force to mold it into the rounded corner that you would like. Here I'm showing you a comparison. This is how your bolt earrings will look if you leave them as is at a 90-degree angle, and this is what they'll look like if you round the edges. To finish it off, you may want to brush over the entire lightning bolt with some isopropyl alcohol and a nice fine brush, and it will just help to bring it all together and make sure it's nice and neat. Bang your polymer clay earrings into the oven, maybe not bang them, but anyway, you can see I'm using this nifty aluminium tray to cover them. Another easy option is just a folded piece of A4 copy paper. And here's some amazing video of my dirty oven. Enjoy. La! Bolt earrings have come out of the oven. To get them off this piece of glass, you can use a slicing blade and pushing down firmly to get it off the glass or the tile that you're using. I'm just showing you with a cutting blade here. So I'm going for the corners first and I'm pushing down really hard against the glass surface so that I don't cut into the actual earring. And you might need to try a few corners before it just pops off all of a sudden. And there are 2 holes we need to drill, and you can see the shininess here from where it is against the glass. That would also have happened on a tile because it's shiny as well. And I prefer to actually sand that off and sand it down because it looks a little bit uneven. I've got some P1200 sandpaper here. And yeah, I like to just put my hand straight down like that instead of holding any of those fragile parts that you saw before, like the pointed parts or the edges. And I'm doing a Mr. Miyagi technique here where I'm waxing on and waxing off. Wax on, wax off, Daniel-san. Anyway, here it is and it's nice and matte now. So I'm pretty happy with that. I wouldn't really do much else. I'm not too fussy. There are also some polishing papers as well. These go from about a 400 up to a ridiculous amount, over 1200. However, they're really, really cool and they're really great because they're so flexy and they're kind of like fabric and they kind of get into all of those tight corners and around all of those edges. And you can see the difference that it's a little bit shinier than what it was before, and I really, really love this satin look. Here you can see I'm using my fingernails just to clean the other edge of the bolt. And I'm just using it very lightly, using even pressure and smoothing the edges down a little bit because they can be a little bit sharp because this is the part of the side of the bolt that was connected to the glass. And so little burrs can develop there, and it's just a really sharp edge. So you may want to just clean that up, refine it a little bit. You can see I'm using a cutting blade, and you can use that as well. And it's just blunting those edges all around the bolts. And I find I have more control with a fingernail. And you can see they're a little bendy, which is a sign that you have baked them to perfection and they are very strong. This is a very cheap drill. It was about 10 bucks from eBay. And then I kind of splashed out at one stage and I bought this. It was probably about only $50, $60 with the attachments. This electric drill that I'm using now to drill the holes. You could also use a hand drill, which is only about 10 bucks on eBay again. It's super, super handy. I really didn't think that I would use mine, but I use it all the time. I use all three of those drills all the time. So now we're getting into the hardware. I've got a jump ring here and I've just twisted it open and then I'm popping it into the hole. I'm holding it with pliers on one side and putting some pliers on the other side, and then we're just going to simply twist it together again to where it was before. And I get really fussy about this. I don't like to have a little gap because if you have this little gap here that I'm showing you, it can easily fall through other rings and it might not be secure. Squeeze it on the top and try to close the gap on the side. Another way to get that little gap closed is you can move the jump ring around to get the gap positioned at the top and then try squeezing on top of it that way as well. I always seem to have to do both. Just try a range of different ways to get that little gap closed. It just takes a little bit of getting used to and a little bit of practice. If I hold it up to the light, I don't want to see any light between those two little parts of it. And I'm very happy with that. Me being fussy and everything, oh my gosh. So I just did the other lightning bolt and I'm going to show you a kidney-shaped earring hook and how cool it is. So anyway, to make that work, I want to give you some options, guys. So you add another jump ring, twist it apart and together just like we did before. Except it's on that other ring, and then you thread it onto your kidney hook. And you can see it just sits in that little section there, nice and snugly, and they're very secure because you can hook them closed behind your ear. These are a pretty cool option for earring hooks. It's time for me to spill the beans on why these kidney hooks are so good. So here's the deal. If you put a layer of very thin clay on the back of them, it means you can make them reversible and wear them both sides. Bam. Amazing and so easy. It's like flipping pancakes but with earrings. Just unhook it at the back, take it off the smaller jump ring, turn that earring around the other way, and poke it into the smaller jump ring again and simply pull it around to the other side. And now it's back to front. Now you can rock these earrings on both sides. Whoa. Guess what? I've got another pair here and we're going to do the same earring shuffle and you can watch the magic happen again. Check out this pair. We've got a gold side and a blue side. It's double the bling. And just like that, we're finishing up the earring swapperoo. And ta-da! No one will ever know your fashion secrets. Just me and maybe the rest of YouTube. That's all. And here's your standard, more of your standard earring hook or earring wire. Here's a little trick. Put your nail right up to the edge of that ring, as you can see I'm doing now. I've taken the widest part of some pliers and we're going to twist it around so that the hole is actually facing the front rather than down the other side where it was before. You may have to kind of like, fiddle around with it a little bit if it looks a little bit uneven. You can see I'm kind of just getting it centered and twisting it a little bit again, making sure it's exactly at the right angle that I want it to be. Actually, you can see that's looking pretty good. And the great thing about this little trick, and I'm just twisting it open now with those pliers, is you can just pop it straight on to the earring. You don't have to add that other second little ring, which can be a little bit fiddly. All you need to do is just pop it straight on, twist the jump ring back, close the jump ring, and it's done. So please let me know if you have any other earring hook secrets. I'm just showing you here. I'm being panickety pants again because there's a little gap and I need to close it up, and we can't have that. So that's just me being a little bit picky. And anyway, here it is, it's finished, and I really hope that your earrings are looking amazing. Here's the two different types. You've got the kidney and then the more standard kind of hook. And I'm sure there's lots of different ways that you guys do your own jewelry. I'd love to hear about it in the comments section down below. I just love the feel of these earrings after the polishing. They feel so nice and soft. Okay, so I've got a whole collection of bolt earrings here, and I will show you some more. Don't you worry, I want to show you a lot of different variations. The ones on the left are the ones that we've done in this tutorial. And they're nice and smooth and they just feel beautiful. And then with these blue ones, I've resined one side of them. However, I didn't resin the other side. I just sanded it and made it matte because, maybe I couldn't be bothered doing the other side. I don't know. These are some faux labradorite ones that are resined on both sides. I really love the effect of that technique. Hopefully I'll show you in another tutorial. And I just dropped it. And there's some other little ones down there I don't care about. I don't care. I just don't care. There's too many. I'm swimming in them. What am I doing with all these earrings? You can't possibly wear them all. Woo! Congratulations on completing this tutorial. Please let me know how your polymer clay bolt earrings went. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the discussion section. Thanks again for being part of this class, and I'll see you in the next one.